Hi friends, I'm Sarah. Welcome back to my channel, Sunset Bow Tarot. So I'm going to be killing two tag birds with one stone in this video. I'm going to be responding to both the Tarot Happiness tag, which is started by Amy over at Strength Reversed. Love her channel. You should all check it out. I'm also going to be responding to the Show Your Shuffle tag from Rochelle at Amethyst Ascension, which I think was a brilliant tag also. And shuffling's one of my favorite things, so I'm just gonna show my shuffle while I'm at it. So the first thing that makes me happy about tarot is getting a professional tarot reading. I feel like there are a lot of readers out there who don't maybe get professional readings all that often, but if you go to a really good reader, it can be absolutely amazing. My favorite professional reader is Kellyanne Maddox. I've only ever gotten 2 readings from her. They were a year apart because the first one gave me enough to work on for an entire year, and then the second one has now given me enough to work on for another entire year. Her readings are absolutely amazing. They're super in-depth, and getting one, it feels like self-care, but it's self-care in a way where you feel like it gives you something to work on and something to strive towards, and it's just wonderful. So getting a professional reading is absolutely one of my favorite things about tarot. So my second thing, and a lot of people have brought this up, but riffle shuffling. I love riffle shuffling. Part of that I think is because I come from a card playing family. Like I grew up with my family playing hearts all the time and stuff like that. And so I learned to riffle shuffle and bridge regular playing cards ages before I ever picked up a tarot deck, so it was really natural for me to sort of take that up when I started reading tarot. It just made sense to shuffle the way I've always been shuffling, and I just love the motion of it. It's very soothing, it's very meditative, I feel. There are certain decks where I just really love the feel of shuffling them. My Crystal Unicorn comes to mind. I love shuffling that deck, and sometimes it's fun to just like get out a deck and just sit and shuffle it for a while, because like I said, it's very sort of soothing and meditative. Now here is where I'm going to insert a video of me shuffling for the Share Your Shuffle tag that Rochelle from Amethyst Ascension has done. So here's me shuffling. Third thing on my list that brings me tarot happiness is researching a deck before I buy it. This is actually the thing that brought me to TarotTube. I love to go on to YouTube and watch all the different walkthroughs of the deck and hear different people's thoughts about it and decide whether or not I think it'll work for me or not. And that's absolutely one of my favorite things, is just that fun of like looking into a deck and researching it and sort of making that buying decision, is this for me or not? Number 4 on my list is tarot journaling. I think I've said this before, I kept a journal for a really long time, again, before I ever picked up a tarot deck. Like I think I have journals going back to when I was in 7th grade, something like that. So I've been keeping a journal for a very, very long time, and when I took up tarot, I basically just like incorporated tarot into my existing journaling practice. So it's basically my same old stream of consciousness journal, but I draw in the spreads that I do, and I talk about my interpretations, and sort of talk about how those things apply to my life. And I just really love the feeling of sitting down with the journal and writing about things and writing about my feelings and thoughts and interpretations of a reading that I've done for myself. For my whole life, I've felt like the act of journaling was so therapeutic. It's to the point where I can almost feel like as I'm writing, it's like the bad feelings just like go down my arm and come out onto the paper, and it allows me to just vent so much and get so much out and get things to the point where I'm not dwelling on them anymore. If I can just get them down on paper, I don't have to think about them again. And that has always just been so important to me, and connecting that with tarot is an even bigger deal. Like it really helps me internalize the messages that I'm getting from the cards and really think them through and make sense of everything. So it's super, super important to me. The next thing on my list think this is number 5, is tarot storage. I love going on an Etsy store and picking out the perfect bag to keep a deck in, or going to a store and finding the perfect box to keep a deck in. Generally, when my cards come in a nice box, I keep them in the box that they come in, but lots of decks still come in tuck boxes, which are terrible, and I tend to destroy them. So if cards come in a tuck box, I will always find another way to store them, which will either be a bag or another box. And I just enjoy finding the perfect thing to go with the deck and sort of capture the energy of the deck and feel like that's where the deck wants to live, like that's the deck's new home. I just love that. Next on my list, I do love giving tarot readings. I love giving readings online. I've done lots of readings for people that have been online readings where I've never met the person in real life. All I've got is a question and a little bit of information about them, and I make a video reading for them, and I really, really love those. I also, though, do love reading for people in real life, which I've done sometimes for friends and family, sometimes for strangers, but the act of giving a reading to a person, I don't know, it's just such a wonderful feeling to when you just get on that roll and you really feel like you've got a story coming to you and a message coming to you, and you're just, you know, really able to convey that smoothly to another person. Next on my list is meeting other tarot readers online. That's like the whole reason I started this YouTube channel, was so that I could put my thoughts on tarot out there in the world and hear other people's thoughts on tarot, because I don't have any friends in real life who read tarot. And so it's so fun for me to be able to interact with other people and see what they think about things, and being able to say what I think about things and know that I'm talking to people who are interested and will understand what I'm talking about. It's absolutely the best. I love it. Next thing I love, and I know a couple of other people have mentioned this as well, is that delicious odor of ink in a new deck. Like, some people have new car smell, we have new card smell. And I just love the way that new decks smell sometimes. I mean, you do occasionally get those decks that have like a really strong sort of chemically odor that isn't very pleasant, but most decks I've found I actually really enjoy the odor of the cards when you open them up and they're all freshly printed, and it just is a great smell. Next is making a tarot date with yourself. You know, those times where you have a really important reading to do, like a birthday reading or year ahead reading or something like that, and you literally make a date with yourself. It's like, I'm setting aside this evening to do this important reading. I know it's going to take me a couple of hours. I'm going to have lots to think through and write about and think about. And you sort of give yourself this evening. You make sure that you're all prepared. You have everything that you need. You think about what deck you're going to use or decks, and get everything all ready. And that just fun, again, of having that moment of self-care where you're really giving yourself the time to do this reading and think things through and really absorb the messages. I love that. Next is selling or trading a deck that didn't work for me, because this happens sometimes. You know, there are times that I will order a deck or back one on Kickstarter, and when I get the deck, I'm like, no, you know, actually this one isn't for me. I really thought it was, but it's not. And that just happens. And when that happens to me, I am really unsentimental about being like, nope, you're done. You don't work for me. You will probably work better for somebody else. So I'm going to put you up for sale on one of the, you know, sale and trade groups, or I'm going to put you up on eBay or whatever it might be. But I love that feeling of being able to pass on a deck to somebody who's really excited about it and really wants it. And just knowing that the thing that didn't work out for you is going to work out for somebody else, and that's how it was meant to be, and I love that feeling. Next on my list is following the progress of a deck that you backed on Kickstarter. I love that. I love getting updates from the creator, you know, and I love every time I see a new update from one of the decks that I backed on Kickstarter, I have this little, you know, bit of excitement. It's just fun to watch the progress of it and know how things are going and see more of the artwork and, you know, whatever it might be. It's always really great to kind of follow the progress of things and see how they're going to be culminating ultimately in a deck that you're excited to get. And then finally, and again, I mean, this is just one of those things that's probably true for all of us, I love getting a new deck in the mail. Those are the things that bring me tarot happiness. Again, I want to thank Amy from Strength Reverse for doing this tag. It was super fun. I also want to thank Rochelle from Amethyst Ascension for doing the Share Your Shuffle tag, which I just thought was a great tag. Like, I love watching people shuffle. I think that was a great idea for a tag. So anyway, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a great one. Bye-bye.